should be live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night. This is DJs Talking DJ Stuff once again here on DJN TV. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, MJ. Good evening, MJ.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, we're just we have no lives and we're going to come on and talk. It's going to be great, man.
Oh, yeah, you know how it is. Us DJs, it's Monday. What else do we do?
Exactly. I mean, some people might, actually have a job or something that they do, but not us. No.
Really? Really? People still work a day job?
Some people do, I guess. I don't know. They might have kids that want to eat on a regular basis.
I understand. I mean, well, I personally don't understand, but let's just say I did.
You've read the book.
I've read the book. I saw the T-shirt that somebody wore.
Somebody wore a shirt at the beach the one day.
There was a billboard the other day I passed on the way to being single. I don't know.
Oh. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking LDI. I know we had a different topic or subject on our little video player, but we're going to be chatting about LDI. And I've got an ad there, and I want to check and make sure there we go, the feed is going. So we are good to go. And we're going to start out here. We got Antony here from Nova Scotia, and he's going to be going down to LDI, and he's going to be our first guest tonight. Antony, good evening.
Good evening, John. How's it going?
Hey, doing well. Now, in Nova Scotia, you are what, 2 hours behind me?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you got 9 o'clock, and we're just getting after 7 o'clock here. So you'll probably...
I'm in the middle, 8 p.m., so...
Yeah, so Antony's going to get really tired, and he'll probably fall asleep on us at some point in time during the night. Although he's a young guy, so he probably will be great. But yeah, what we wanted to do, gang, tonight is talk a little bit about LDI, and then in our last half hour, we're going to kind of jump into some wedding talk a little bit. We're going to have a couple of wedding DJs hopefully be able to join us, and we're going to kind of progress from LDI and work our way towards this. Really, the concept in the last half hour is what you can do in November or during the slow months of the year to help your business or improve your business for the upcoming year. So MJ and I are going to, share our thoughts on that because, we really don't have really in-depth thoughts. I
was going to say, I don't have a downtime.
See, okay, so I'm the only one who has a downtime.
Yeah.
And the rest of you can feel sorry for me, please. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, so that's going to be our show tonight. We've got, I think, about 5 or 6 people that, some are tentative to come in and some are scheduled to come in. And this is one of the, MJ, you kind of described what we're going to be doing, kind of like a college dorm room. Kind of give us that vision again.
That was really kind of my vision for this, is because if you've ever gone to a expo or even a small, like maybe local DJ chapter or something like that, DJ sitting around, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't like the other guys, you're going to talk about gear and things that have happened. And we just like to talk about it. And that's what I thought, that after the expos, after all that, we have people that we've met at these expos from all over the country and all over the world. And why can't we have a get together, like a bunch of dudes hanging out, maybe like a dorm room or something, and just talking, BSing about equipment and stuff like that. And that's what I kind of hope this develops into, is a weekly thing to where we can get people and maybe get some really big names that'll come in and chat with us and answer questions and let us make fun of them and all that kind of fun stuff. So.
Exactly. I mean, that's the American way. Oh, excuse me. Antony's from Canada. That's the North American way.
Yeah.
Kind of caught myself there.
I'll hold back on the Canadian jokes tonight.
Well, actually, tonight's election night for the federal government, so I don't know how that's going to handle out.
See, they've got it a little earlier. They're not afraid of, like, in Minnesota come November, we could have so much snow that like 4 votes wins the governorship,
In Pittsburgh, The only way I can tell it's election time is that the roads start to get fixed. The rest of the time it's potholes. And that's when we start getting roads fixed. Oh, is it an election year?
Someone's up for election this year. Oh, great stuff. If you guys are out there watching tonight on YouTube, now if you're watching on a mobile device, there is a chat available, but on the mobile device, I think you've got to click something on the bottom. I'm not exactly sure how that works on mobile. MJ, you were looking at that. Where's that link for the chat?
It's down at the bottom right corner is all I could say. That if you're looking at your device, it's going to be over here to the right of the video, and it will pop up. Yeah, it will pop up all the chat because it hides it, just because it compacts space. And it's a what do they call it? Instead of a drop down, it's a drop up.
A pop up.
Pop up.
I like
And that's where the
pop-ups.
chat is. Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on the chat tonight, and John's keeping an eye on the chat. So
Yeah. And
if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, questions. If you're online with your browser, it's in the upper right-hand corner, and you're good to go. So that's kind of a cool little feature where you guys can ask live questions and such. So, yeah.
It's odd we don't have any questions yet.
Well, people, it's early, and people we're starting about an hour earlier than we did last week, and part of that is my
true,
my fault, because last week I didn't get in to tuck any of the kids in. By the time we were done, I think it was well after 10 o'clock. Our show went 3 hours long. It was a marathon. I mean, there's some great information and some great stories. So if you guys didn't get a chance to check out last week's, you got to go to DJN TV and check that out. It was in our industry chat section. You can go there. But we talked about last week the good and the bad from gig stories, and we had some really, really, I would say, kind of heart, not wrenching, but really kind of some sentimental type stories that were really kind of cool. And then we had some that made me go ick.
Yeah, there were some people I'm really impressed by. I don't even know what you could call it, an emotional intelligence to the sensitivity to some of the situation they handled and just diffused everything and made it a special event, what it was supposed to be. I mean, I was really impressed because I know that's not my strength. So I look at that as almost being a superpower.
Yeah, exactly. And as you hear some of the things that they've done, it's like, holy cats.
I was listening to that too, and that was, wow.
Yeah. I'm just posting on a couple of social media channels, because there's going to be folks who are like, where are you guys? And I bet you it didn't stick. Computers are great until they don't work.
I think I'm eating up all my bandwidth right now.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. And most of my kids are in band or off to meetings tonight, so I really don't have to worry about too many of them being on our bandwidth tonight. We are live.
Yeah.
So Antony, you're a high school student, and and doing your thing up there. What in the entertainment profession? What would you consider what you do on a regular basis in the entertainment profession?
I'd say I mostly do the kind of AV work that most people would do, where I'd do some sound and I'd run lights for most of my shows. What I do mostly is theater, actually. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I'd set up all of our sound gear, and then I'd just simply plug my lighting console in, if I get a lighting console, and just run the lights. Pretty much it.
Very cool. Very cool. So you're used to working with things bigger than probably a lot of the fixtures that a typical DJ would use, and this might age me, but like a Vertigo. You probably aren't even familiar with what a Vertigo is unless you read about it somewhere.
I had one, believe it or not, 3 years ago.
When
I ended up trading in for a jellyfish.
Okay, so
I don't even have a jellyfish anymore.
Wheeler and dealers trading lights in. Cool. Yeah. So you're doing production.
Actually.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're doing your production and things. Now, where have your production events or where have you traveled so far now? Because you mentioned earlier when you and I were kind of chatting, you've been to Vegas a couple of times. So where else have you been with doing some production things?
Well, I've done a little bit in Toronto. I don't know if you guys know where Toronto is, up in Ontario.
Oh yeah,
and
it's Canada, right?
Yes,
pretty much. And I've done some stuff around there, but it's mostly been local around here at my school and a few local venues working for another company.
Very cool.
What are your hopes and dreams? What do you hope to you hope to be like John and I, where we just lay back all day and don't do anything? Or what's your goal for this business, let's say?
I'm one of the kind of guys who likes to just work, and because I actually enjoy rigging lights and running lights and programming, all that kind of stuff. So I don't even want to get paid to do it. That's how much I like doing it. It's just the issue with up here is you have to be 18.
Oh.
I'm only 16. So
rigging can be kind of an issue then for you, I suppose.
Yeah. Ground rigging. I hate heights.
That was a question where I wanted to head with the rigging question is how are you walking across? Ben Stowe has got a video that we're going to be using in a future show where he's walking. The Sanford Center is where the Bemidji State University, they play hockey. And they do a lot of rigging of lights up in the rafters of this thing. And he's got this video. He put a GoPro on his forehead, and he's walking across one of those little beams there, and throwing things back and forth and pulling wire. And it's just the beam looks
fine in catwalks. It's just once you get to the beams, I'm saying bye.
Yeah. There's catwalks up there. He actually took us on a tour up there, and we could walk on the catwalk. Nice, rails, safe, big, wide. I was liking it. And then,
I'm probably one of those guys. I'm probably one of those guys that would tie in a rope and swing over to the other section.
I don't need to climb over there. Just watch.
You're done putting the lights up. Get off the thing. No, I want to stay and play.
Come on.
Go wait until OSHA shows up.
That would be my thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, OSHA.
They'll take you out, man. Sorry, we have to fine you for the guy that's swinging by his underwear up there in the rafters.
It'd be a new version of bungee jumping then.
That would be. Would that be the Fruit of the Loom jump on? I don't even. Do they still exist?
Next subject.
Anyway. So we got LDI coming up, and Antony, you're going to be going down there. This will be your first trip to LDI?
First year I can go to LDI because I'm old enough now.
Nice. We wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that were going to be released, and specifically I mentioned to you I'd like to have you share a couple of things that you're kind of excited to see that will be at LDI this year. So let's start. Let's give us one of the items that you are just fired up to see down at the show this year.
Well, it's kind of hard to choose because there's so many new things coming out. I'd say I'd start with the clay packy because they have the Mythos out, which I know everybody knows the acclaimed Sharpie. Mm-hmm. And the Mythos is basically the Sharpie's big brother that does wash, spot, and beam all in one. I know it's not really a new product, but it's probably going to be a big hit at LDI. I think it's its first year at LDI, if I'm not mistaken.
But now being from clay packy, it's probably got a nice price tag on it. Especially if it's a bigger brother to a current fixture. Any idea what they got a price?
$14,500.
Oh, MJ, we can buy 3 of them.
I've already got mine. So.
Oh, okay. 14,000.
Wow.
It's not toy by any means.
No, it isn't.
If you're interested, though, Elation has the SBX, which is very similar to the Mythos. But actually the FLX, because the FLX came out to compete against the Mythos. And I've been hearing a lot of buzz in the industry about the FLX. That's going to be something else exciting to see too.
I think it's just so funny what a huge difference it is between like the DJ side of lightings to where you can get like a $100 light, that has, a 4-watt LED, and comparing to the stuff that's on this end that will literally burn your eyes.
Yeah, 14.5 isn't even that high in the spectrum of concert lighting.
Yep.
Vipers aren't cheap either.
No, not much of a cheap.
How much was the Elation projector that they brought out last year?
The Emotion?
Yeah.
I think I heard $7,000.
7?
Yeah, I don't even remember if I heard a exact price. I know they were bouncing some prices around when we had it at the show.
I haven't even seen it. I'm excited to see that. Hopefully it's not the cheap China junk I was expecting it to be.
The China junk. Hey guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Dean Carlson from... Now, where's home for you now, Dean? Are you back in Duluth? Is your mic muted?
You're muted.
No, he's not muted. Your mic must not be on, Dean. We're not hearing you. And I can see. Yep, go ahead. You figure that out. Antony, just so you guys know who are in the Zoom meeting with us right now, there is on the bottom where you can go and you can click to chat and pop open a chat. You can also pop open a window that is manage participants, so you can see who's muted and who's not. So you can pop open
okay.
two extra windows there. And I've got Ben Stowe. Ben Stowe is going to be coming on with us in a little bit, so I need to get him a link.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people that are looking to join us tonight. If you joined us last week, we had what, 10 or 12 people on at the same time, John?
I think we were up to 16. We had. Hey there, I heard something, Dean.
All right, there we go.
There we are.
Howdy. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing well, doing very, very well. Just getting in here, and what we're doing tonight, Dean, is we're going to be talking LDI here for the first probably about 45 minutes or so, and then around 8 o'clock we were going to kind of switch over to talk wedding stuff.
I'm in.
So you get to come along for the ride, and hopefully you've heard a little bit about this funny thing called LDI that's coming up.
I have heard about it.
So we'll be chatting, and I'm getting some links over to there. And guys, in the chat right here, I just put this link in case you don't have it. MJ, if there's somebody out there that wanted to jump in and be on the Zoom, the link is there. I'm not even sure what we'll have to talk when Ben. There we go. Okay, he's got the link and such. This is what happens, gang, when you do live stuff. Is that you end up with all sorts of things going on. So Anthony, you mentioned of course a couple of higher end lights. Now that's for the production side. How about something that's a little bit more in the DJ world?
Well, I'd probably say the new Visi 54X, because that's probably going to be a very hot new beam light coming out. I know it's not on the cheaper end, but it's definitely going to be something hot, especially because it compares to a Sharpie, and it's essentially like the best beam light for under $2,000 that you can get, other than a Platinum 5R Extreme. And I haven't been too up to date on the latest DJ stuff, so I'm excited to see what's coming out soon.
Yeah. Yep. There's.
I ran down a list. Is anybody interested, or we want to wait?
Well,
go ahead.
We'll say hi to Ben since Ben just popped in.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben. Guys, I'll say if you're, Dean, we could hear a lot of noise in the background, so I muted your microphone. So when you want to talk, you'll have to unmute, Dean. And that's so if you guys are having some background noise, you just hit the mute and you're good to go. Or you can just hit the camera thing to shut your camera off so you can bounce to a new location, whatever you need to do, and that way it's kind of all covered. So cool. See, MJ, you've got a list of new things. Let's take a look at one of the manufacturers that you've got a few lights for that we can chat about.
Well, one of the things that I want to mention ahead of time that I mentioned to John a little bit, and for anybody who is going to LDI or is there, they have an app out, an LDI app. You can go to the App Store and download the LDI app, and I was very impressed by it because it takes you on a map of where everybody is set up at, and if you click on a brand name or whatever, it will then take you. Yeah, it will take you to the map where it's at, and then you can click on that and it'll give you information about that product or that booth, including websites and all kinds of stuff. That map that he's showing right there is fully interactive. They also have a list of new gear gallery, which I thought that was kind of impressive. You can just scroll up and down and see what all the new gear is. And that's the first thing. If you're going and you want a map, and there's that, he's showing the stuff there. And it even has the thing to schedule your meetings. So if you have meetings with people or different things like that, it lets you do that with the app too. But I'm just going to go down top to bottom as I found them, not in any special order. But Blizzard Lighting has 4 products that they're bringing out at this. One they showed off a couple of weeks ago. It is the Snake Eyes, which is kind of hard to describe. So you can go search the Blizzard Snake Eyes. They also have the Cairo Morph, which is a multi-tool moving head fixture for concerts and touring. It's a lot bigger end than like the Snake Eyes that's more DJ oriented. They have a new PAR, Z19 PAR, 15 watt quad color LEDs from a 10 to 60 degree beam, and the Any5, which is their wireless transmitter, which is going to send or receive WDMX and stuff like that, or Skywire stuff. So those are their products that I think I don't know. Most of those are on the lower end. Like some of the stuff that Anthony was talking about is, the touring level.
Yeah.
So it's different ends of the spectrum, but they're still going to be under the same roof.
Yeah, for sure. I think from what I've heard from Nick over at Blizzard is they've got a few fixtures that are going to be introduced that will be kind of in that mid range. I don't know about more production. Ben, how about through your sources? Have you heard? Are there going to be some production things coming from some of the our DJ manufacturers this year?
Well, I think that's almost a contradiction in terms. They're well, I mean, it is what it is. It's not. I'm not belittling anybody, but
Yep.
Blizzard doesn't make tour grade fixtures because that's not who their customer is.
Right.
Just like Roby, Clay Packy, and whatnot don't make DJ level fixtures. That's not where their customer is, and probably the closest is Martin with the Rush series, and I think we're all still trying to figure out exactly what they're trying to accomplish. So are there? But on the other hand, to your point, John. We're all just talking right now. We're not actually live, right?
Oh yeah, we're live.
Live.
Oh, we are live. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So keep your shirt on this time. No, I'm kidding.
Shoot. Well, but to your point, we're seeing a lot more DJs that are trying to get into the light production and maybe doing the large school dances where you're starting to see more of that level fixture employed. So I made a list too, MJ. I want to be like you.
There's something that's the first time I've ever heard that. No,
I'll never rock a hat quite as well as you, but
sorry. I know. Get help.
And as I'm in the beginning stage of a 5-week road trip, I'm just kind of wedged up against a wall right now to find a quick, quiet spot where I could shoot this. On my list, I'm really kind of interested to see the new 3.91 millimeter pitch outdoor panel from Eason. Kind of has me intrigued. Elation, one of the fixtures they list as new is their FLX, and of course that was shown at NAMM. So, but it did just start shipping, and it's their very first patented optic in there, and I'm really pretty excited about that. We have sold some of those to tours. Where it is a hybrid beam, spot, and wash. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. The other thing, I have my attention deficit. When we talk gear, I get kind of crazy. I get excited. So.
That's why we're doing this show.
Exactly. We're all like that, man.
I like the new ACL series from Elation. I'm pretty excited about that. We've seen a lot of things that are pixel mapping, and we're going to see more and more of that. And I think that is where maybe you're not ready to spend, $6,000 to $10,000 on a pixel mapping moving head. Elation has a solution. It's more palatable, more affordable, but I think is certainly more ruggedized than its little brother that maybe American DJ offers, which is their sister company. And again, it's different strokes for different folks. It's a price and performance trade-off. You don't expect a Corvette to perform like a Ferrari, and there's a price difference too. So Chevet Professional has a couple things I'm kind of excited about. They've upgraded their Epic series to the Epic Tour, and I'm kind of curious about that. They've added a new kind of a stealth filter, which I like. Makes the fixture stay a little more hidden on the stage, maybe less prominent when they're not in use. And they've found a way to use the old-fashioned scroller cables, like zoom those things, and we can use those now instead of Ethercon.
Ben, what is that cable?
Scroller cable is a 4-conductor cable. Uses a 4-pin XLR, which theatrical people are pretty familiar with from controllers. I see it a lot in the intercom world. It's also, 4-pin XLR is also what they use on intercom headsets. But it replaces the Ethercon, which is basically an RJ45 inside a ruggedized shell. I think it's one of those things. Go to LDI and check it out. But by doing that, they're able to use a little bit larger gauge wire, and they're able to extend the different distances from the driver to the first fixture and some other cool things. The thing that they have that I'm really kind of intrigued by is their new RDM to go handheld RDM device and DMX. It'll function, I guess, really not only as a standalone little controller, similar to what I already have, the Swisson 120, but this also has RDM capability. It can receive DMX that give you an idea what you're seeing on the bus. It also acts as a simple cable tester. Most importantly for me, everybody who knows about my DMX coffee pot, that is an RDM device. So now I can have a small little RDM controller I can connect to it, and I can change the address of my coffee pot. That's very important. So.
Yes, because you'd hate to have your coffee pot on the same channel as your mini space station.
You don't want to be making coffee. Well, but anyway.
Yeah, coffee pot and fog machine. You want to keep those a little separate.
Gotta keep those separate. Yeah. Ironically, though, you can clean both of them with vinegar, but that's neither here nor there.
It's true. That is very true.
Oh, funny.
Let's see. I got a couple quick other things on my list. Not too many, but Applied Electronics is releasing some new distros. I really like their distros. We saw quite a few of them, and I like their motor control and some of the other things. So I'm kind of excited. Jack hasn't told me much. Just said it's a new signature line. And I said, "Come on, Jack, tell me more." And he said, "See you at LDI." I'm like, "Oh!" So between that and the trailer for episode 7 tonight, I don't think I could take much more.
Seriously, we're on doing this, and the episode trailer dropped.
Oh, seriously, I'll just shut you off when it comes on. So
wait, what? That came out?
Yeah, wait, what? Yes, it'll be on during Monday Night Football tonight.
Okay, I'm searching it right now.
You need to follow me on Twitter. All right.
I do follow you on Twitter.
What is this?
I tweet like once a month.
What is this Twitter thing you talk about?
Yeah, it's a social media platform that someday we'll remember in the same way we remember MySpace, I think. But
MySpace. Hey, I just updated my page. It's looking awesome.
Yeah, Dean's shaking his head. We'll see if the new CEO, the new old CEO, can turn it around. Global Trust is coming out with some new quick grids. This is something actually that Ken and I talked about almost a year ago, and they've got them out now. It's a great way that we can add some vertical space to the upstage edge of our stage, or the back of the stage for those who don't speak stagehand vernacular. That we could stack these things that look like little, upside down horseshoes, basically squared off horseshoes that you could keep stacking up and up to 10 high, and you can hang moving lights. Maybe, for example, some of those new Elation ACL matrices off the back of that thing. And you can create some very, very, very cool looks, a lot of depth with your stage look from that. And they tear down quick, and they use the same couplers and mate with other Global Truss connectors as well. And then the last thing on my list, and it's a very quick and simple list that I threw together. Otherwise, we will be here till I miss the trailer. Is MA Lighting is releasing a new switch. And of course, many of their nodes are Ethernet driven, and we're seeing a lot more Ethernet driven technologies with lighting, particularly in the production tour world where consoles are linked and that sort of thing. But also when you get into Ethernet-based technologies like ArtNet. And so they have a new switch coming out, and I'm excited about that because they obviously make great tour-grade consoles. I'm partial. I have one, but I do really like them. And this is going to be solid, reliable transmission for our lighting Ethernet-based technologies.
Very neat.
That's it.
Ben, I have a question for you about one of the products that I look up today, and I'm new to a lot of the high-end products, and I don't know if this is a high-end product or not, but Philips Lighting has quite a few new things, or a couple of new things. What's your thoughts on some of their setups? I mean,
well, I would definitely characterize Philips as high-end. They actually own a great number of the patents that are used by LED manufacturers. And I'm going to straighten your question for a second to say that's one of the really dirty, not even a secret, but just one of the dirty things about, when people find this cheap, no-name lighting, a lot of it, and people bristle when I use the word illegal, but there's no other word. It's the right word. These are made in violation of those patents, and then they're subsequently illegal to use. And I know people are going, "Oh, brother, spare me." Well, I'm just, look, do or don't do it, but it doesn't change. How you feel about it doesn't change what it is. You know? Anyway, the fact that they hold such a big patent portfolio is in large part the fact that they bought Color Kinetics, but also that they're a company that is really committed to innovation and creating these driver technologies and diode technologies and that sort of thing. So I think anytime you have somebody that many patents, we have to say that they're a leader, an upper end fixture. That said, they have so many things out.
The two that I saw that they were kind of pushing was the SL Punch 220. It's a multicolor zoom for indoor or outdoor par, and the other one was a multi-panel light control submaster and wing sides and stuff like that.
Well, they make a lot of really cool stuff. I don't have anything real specific to add to that. Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
Yeah, and their booth is kind of interesting.
As I tried to formulate a meaningful response to that, I thought, one of the really cool things about the time we live in today is that there are so many companies that are producing quality product, and there's such a wide variety of price point, probably more so than at any point ever in the history of the game. There used to be a much bigger divide between the haves and the have-nots. And that can be a challenge too, because you say, well, where do I want to go? Where's my threshold for pain? Where am I going to find something that's actually going to survive on tour? I've had customers who buy, lower cost fixtures that they just get destroyed quickly under the load that they're going to use. But of course you don't want to spend too much. I mean, everybody'd love to use, high-end systems and, clay packy and Roby but that's just doesn't really make sense for some budgets either,
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have a lot of choices and exciting to look through that.
One of the other ones real quick here is Nova Light has a waterproof moving head. And I thought that was kind of neat.
Well, that's not on my radar yet, but you can bet I'm going to check that out. Anytime you say waterproof moving head, I'm excited.
Nova Scope is what it's called. The Nova Light Nova Scope.
Nova Scope.
Okay.
First thing here.
It's
there
interesting.
Was quite a few that. There was another company. There was a lot of things. There was a company that did video screens that I thought was kind of I can't pronounce their name. It's Stump FI or Stump FL. They had a lot of very cool, like we've seen the smaller ends at the DJ thing that are 12 by 12 with the framing and stuff. They had curved screens and all kinds of really custom stuff that I thought was really, really neat. And they're bringing out some new things that are both upper and lower level. And that's something that can tie both into the big shows, traveling stuff like you deal with, and the DJ who wants to take the video projection to the next level.
Yeah, and what's cool about what I do, I think, and thank you for saying that. I mean, in a complimentary sense, but I'm not above, selling rope light either. And I love the fact that I interact with so many DJs, and it really, I don't want to say it bothers me, but maybe that's the word when DJs say, well, I know I'm not a big customer, but I say, well, hey, you brought that up, not me. I'm perfectly happy helping you out. I'm perfectly happy talking to you. I don't care if you buy one $50 light a year. I'm passionate about the industry, and I'm passionate about working with you, and I'm glad you called me. So that's nice that you can, again, we have this big range from little to big, and I can draw from the experience of what the big guys are doing. But believe it or not, sometimes the little guys drive innovation too, because they're working with more limited budgets, more limited space concerns, more limited power concerns, and they come up with some pretty creative solutions. The mother of invention, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the technology itself, the hardware getting cheaper, that can take some of the highest stuff that used to be high end. It's really expensive, can be shrunk a little bit and lower price range.
I think some of the names that you see on tour today are names you wouldn't have dreamed of seeing on tour 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And I don't want to say those names now, because even though they're on tour, it might feel as though I put a negative connotation. I'll just say that, it's surprising what you do see out on tour.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's a part of the whole competition that's out there right now within the lighting industry, is that those that we'd consider more entry level at one point in time had to really step up their game with quality and standing behind their products, which again makes it more tour acceptable or usable, because they typically do last longer today than they did 5 years ago.
Well, no question. I'm going to use this moment to climb back in a soapbox, though, because something you said and something I said kind of got me thinking here. We'll probably lose a few fans over this, but it might be some of that. Oh, sir, now you make me full screen just for this.
There you go. Now you're full screen.
This is the guy you're not going to like right here.
Yeah, the rest of us want to go somewhere. If we start shaking our heads or something behind you.
Why is everybody shutting off their cameras?
Yeah, where did they all go?
No, I think it's one of those things that if this bothers you, then maybe the message is for you. Maybe you should take a really hard thought about why what I'm about to say bugs you a little bit, because I think that's noteworthy. I get budgets. I understand that. My first lights are made out of coffee cans, but when we're hired by clients and we're given the obligation to provide a quality result for them, we have to do the right things to make that happen. And one of the things that just does frustrate me when people who buy low-cost fixtures is when there's a failure and these things don't perform like Ferraris, and they tee off on me about it.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $100 for this wireless battery-powered light, and I'm thinking, Clay Packey's wireless battery-powered light is $4,000. But I'm not belittling someone who spent $100, but come on, a little bit of, reality here.
Yeah.
So I'll say it this way. These tours that do spend $6,000, $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 per light also carry spares.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though they got Ferraris, they got a couple more in the garage, So anyway, that's all I'm saying is, look, if you can't afford spares, I get it. I've been there. But then just understand failure is always an option.
Very much so.
There, you can go back to hating me.
There you go. There you go. Now, yeah, we'll
minimize
a
negative thing. That was a realistic thing.
It's not a negative.
Because I'm one of those cheap guys, so I'm come from that point, to where something like, and please don't take this as being cheap. I'm just saying this is I'm pointing the cheapness at me, that going to like a gig bar is a step up for me, because I've been using the same lights for like 4 or 5 years now, and there's a lot of people like me that, because I mainly do club events, so I'll do less than a dozen live events a year. So there are people out there like me like that, and there has to be something for everybody, but there also has to be that higher end, because you can't just have the lower end. Like you said, you see how much, I used to tour when I was younger, about 10, 15 years ago.
It is a young man's game, isn't it?
Yeah. And oh my goodness, you don't even know, sleeping in cars and surviving off granola bars and stuff like that. But I didn't have the great rider. I didn't have the great rider like you had. No, but once you see, you can use something like my DJ cases, even like that I would use for local clubs, and then take it out on tour. They'd be trashed in one season,
Yes.
where you would think, oh, this is a tough case. No, it's a whole different world. So you do need that different step, and that's why they are expensive. I want to ask a real question here. How is the customer service or kick, being, if you do have one of the higher end lights break, how are a lot of those companies?
Remarkably, and I love those companies, so this is not a rub against them, but remarkably, I don't think DJs realize how spoiled they are, that they get the level of customer service that they do from Chevy, American Blizzard, and what have you. Because I think to a large degree, when you get into the bigger level, you're expected to carry more of the load yourself. It's, hey, fix it on site. That's not to say that they don't have good customer service, but it's a different level of clientele. I think the hand holding and the willingness to just do those sorts of things is probably greater at the lower level. And by the way, I love the gig bar. I think it's fantastic. Just to kind of underscore my point, we said, wait a minute now, we got a light, a case, a tripod with strobes, effects, pars, and a wireless foot controller for, somewhere in a $300 neighborhood. Well, holy smokes, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying an upsell to me, because it's like I look at how small I can travel, how custom, simply I can do it. And that's going to simplify things to where, literally 5 years ago, that would have been 8 to 10 fixtures individually strung up on a much heavier, bigger pole or truss.
Yeah, like I said, I love it. Just when people have a failure with it, then they see, wow,
I'm a self light fixer too, because I've torn apart different lights I've had that LEDs have went, and I'm on the board trying to solder and figure out what's bad. So I do that with the cheap ones. That's how cheap I am. Hey, I'll fix the $60 light. I will.
You know what? That's not cheap. That's practical and it's frugal. And why not? I love that. I love fixing things. I don't like buying stuff just for the sake of buying it either. I certainly don't like buying things that twice. So No, that doesn't make you cheap. And your business has to have a return on investment. Again, if you said, hey, Ben, I'm DJing clubs and I'm going to go out tomorrow and buy a bunch of, Roby points and a MA2 controller, I say, well, did you win the lottery or something? Because, you're never going to make that money back. You know that, right?
A lot of the clubs in this area, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to say low end and drop names, but they don't have the high end names at all. They are, hey, we can afford 10 of these, buy them, put them in. And it's kind of sad. But
it does the job. I think, again, different strokes for different folks. And that's one of the things that really slays me is the class system, the posturing, and I have friends who work on the tour level that if they knew I talked to DJs, they'd probably disown me, and I don't get that at all. All of us started somewhere, and, at some point we just decided we're too good for somebody else or something. I think this is more about us than them. I don't think it's a good thing.
What level would you see someone switching? Because we talk about, the upper level and some of the lights and stuff that they would see at the LDI show. Where would you see a DJ needing to take that step? I mean, is there a DJ oriented gig that person would need that?
Well, yeah, I've seen some, I'll throw, my friend Jordan's name out, for example. Those guys are using some seriously, pro tour level gear. And they're doing large school dances, and I don't know what they're getting for a school dance, but presumably an appropriate fee because they have a tremendous rig. I would hesitate to ballpark the figure, but it would be probably $500,000 to $1 million in lighting. I think I saw at first glance.
Wow!
And yet they're DJing, and I think the whole face of what is a DJ has changed because now you have DJs selling out arenas.
True.
So it depends on what DJ you are and what level of gig you're doing. If you want to go out and do these killer high school shows, you're going to need more than a gig bar. But for doing the shows that you're doing and small clubs and bars, and it's a perfect light. Wedding dance, I think it's a perfect light. I think the answer, John, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm. It depends. Yeah.
I was waiting for that all night.
Yeah, it took us half an hour, but we got it.
Been a while. I'm just stalling because I heard rumor that Stacy's going to try to jump on tonight. So I'm just stalling to see if she gets in. So
I don't know how many of you guys have gotten a chance to meet Stacy, but she would actually bring the class level of our show up like 3 notches.
More than a few.
And she can talk food like there's no tomorrow.
How in the world we got Stacy to agree to come work at Dental Effects is still beyond me. That's to Kat's credit. Kat recruited and hired her.
I was thinking she lost a bet somewhere. Yeah, that's generally how those things start.
It could be.
Oh, we've got a few people.
The airspace. I apologize, but we should let the other guys throw some stuff.
Oh no, we're just kind of chatting away here. Antony shared a little bit about some of the stuff, and Dean's going to be talking weddings with us here in a little bit. He's hanging with us and such. And I think I've gotten 4 or 5 different private messages on Facebook of guys who would like to be here, but there's this thing called baseball going on. I don't know. I thought that was over.
What's baseball?
Yeah.
Shani Barnett says she's going to try to join in later. So
yeah, she's going to.
She's just going to rub a rider in my face again. So.
See, I understood the riders. It took one show for me to get really detailed. In the booking agent I had, he would have all his artists put something really specific in there to see if people read it. Like one of the bands. Yeah. There's one of the bands was a specific brand iced tea, and mine was pretty big, but they never got it. I said no food in the green room, and it never happened.
See, like I said, really? I'm on the other side of the fence. That even when I'm out with the tour, I really don't get to put much on the rider. I'll maybe get to put some stuff out there for power requirements, and But I started asking about the catering side of the rider. They're like, you're going to get what we get, and you're just going to like it. I'm like, okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, we had one show where it was on the rider that they had to provide food for all the acts. It was a tour with I don't know how many acts, and they had ice cream as the food that night. That's what they brought for all the bands. We got ice cream for everybody.
So I'm actually going back out on tour, and I had thought I was past that part of my life, but it's a great group of a great musical group and wonderful people, which is to me more important than anything else. And close friends that are on the tour, and they asked, and I agreed because it was a short duration. So I'm going to go out doing a Christmas tour, and John will probably do a shot or two from the bus, my coffin-sized home for a week or so. But previously worked with these guys, and I took a little bit of ribbing because every night before the show, all I would eat was cheesecake. I would just go into the catering area, grab a slice of cheesecake, and head back out to the arena floor. I took a lot of kidding over that.
Wow.
Okay, so eating junk food like that while on tour, and I mean, I've never been on tour, guys, so I can't speak for that, but I know just the traveling when I'm covering conventions and such, if I eat like that, Ben, I would be like one sick, messed up puppy really quick.
That's why I had the no food in the green room, because it was always like potato chips and M&Ms, and that was when I was actually trying to keep a healthy weight, unlike now as in my elder years.
Yeah, I just gave up,
Things change when you're on tour. That's what I don't know. Like I said, that it's different because you have a different mindset about everything. You're away from home, people every day. I mean, I've been to cities where people would go on vacation and do touristy things that I get to the city and I don't get to see anything outside the venue at all, and it's just crazy. It's like the DJ Expo this year. I went out to the beach and I'm like, hey, there's a beach here. What the heck?
I think all of us find that really relatable. For me, I've said it a few times, touring is seeing the world one loading dock at a time. So,
yeah.
Stacy texted me and said she's trying to get in. She's having a little trouble with the link.
Stacy,
I see Stacy with her iPad in the chat.
Yep, she's slowly coming together here. Her mic's not initialized yet.
Oh, okay.
And she on the bottom, Ben. Maybe if you're using a device, you won't see it. But yeah, if you're on a computer, there we go. Her mic is now activated.
Hi.
Hey, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yay! Finally.
Now you get Stacy. You should have a way to turn your camera on, and we're going to let you turn your camera on because, like last week, I heard that somebody popped in and they were like, lounging.
Like MJ said, today I'm wearing clothes, so
that's a positive.
Well, if I can figure out how to do that, that'd be great.
I don't know if I can. I don't think I can turn that on.
Click towards the light.
Yeah.
Towards the light, right. Okay, let's see here.
Maybe on the bottom.
There.
Hey, there you go.
Oops.
I'm here.
Woo!
Now we lost Anthony.
I just joined in with my phone.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, your phone's and you were complaining about bandwidth, Anthony.
We got Stacy back and we lost it. All right. Anyway, so
we got Anthony twice.
Okay.
He's in twice to ask himself questions.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So he can vote himself up.
Jeez almighty.
Well, Stacy, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so this is great. Now we actually are going to start the intelligent discussions. Oh wait.
Oh, okay. Well, I just spent an hour and a half putting my kid to bed, so forgive me.
Yeah, that's where in about a half an hour, that's where I have to head off to. That's why we have a time limit on our show tonight.
Yeah.
But we were
Perfect. All right.
We've been talking LDI and now we were just going to start to bridge in a little bit over to wedding things. So is there anything, we've talked about, Ben had a list of things that he was excited about for LDI, and MJ had some things, Antony had some things. Dean and I are pretty much the wedding guys, so we have we got nothing, man.
Nothing.
Yeah, we got nothing. So you spend a lot of time, of course, at NLFX Pro talking to DJs. They're calling and asking for recommendations and ideas and what have you. Now, you've seen some of the press releases and a few things, sneak peeks. What's something that you've seen that you think DJs are going to be like, wow, this is awesome. I got to check this out.
Yeah, so a couple of the things that we're really excited about is actually some of the Chevet items. They have 2 new lights coming out. One of which is the Intimidator Spot 455Z IRC. Now, the great thing about that is that it's 180 watts, which is amazing. Crazy bright light for what it can do. It also is very cool because it has a dual gobo wheel. So it's got 15 different options for gobos. It's got the ability to create on the fly for projections and popular gobo morphing effects. Has 7 different colors, including white, with split colors and the continuous color, the scrolling and the 3D effects and stuff, the 3-facet prisms. There's all kinds of things that the degree for the angles that goes from 13 to 28 degree angles for the width. That's huge. And then also the other one that they came out with is the Trio, the Intimidator Trio. Now, the cool thing about that is that it's a 3-in-1. It's the beam, the wash, and effect light. So that one has a 7 to 53 degree angle on it.
7.
That's going to give you...
Wait a second. 7 degree. All the way
the motorized zoom on it is 7 to 53 degree.
Holy cats!
angles.
53 is like a wash.
That's huge.
Very, yeah. Usually it was like the other you mentioned where it was like, whatever to 20 something. That's
right. 28. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So this one's up to 53. Yeah. So that one's going to give you, between having the 3 different options that you can switch between, that gives you a full spectrum of options for in one light. You kind of have an all-in-one. So that's very cool. And it goes from the narrow beam to the wide beam very easily. You can switch it all at once on the fly, very easy to do. So that makes it a very desirable product for those kind of venues, events, whether it is the wedding, so that if you want the whole front, you want just one person, if you're doing the DJ aspect of it, if you're doing ceremony, all of that, being able to switch that on the fly is going to make a difference. So, so that's kind of the major ones that I was looking at.
I have a Chauvet on my list, and if you know anything about it, the Strike 4.
The new
Strike 4.
Yeah, the new 4 and
the
Cobb blinder. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been able to do a whole lot of research on that one myself, to be honest.
That's more. I think that's more up on the production end, but I think it is one we could maybe see some DJs use. It's similar to the, and I know you're familiar with this one, Stacy, the Elation Q-Pix blinder 4, the 4 blinder.
Yep.
Chauvet would, probably they don't like the fact that it's made that comparison, but it's similar in the way that it's 4 100-watt COB warm white modules. What I do like about the Strike 4 is that each pod is really rotatable on its own. So it's a bit more where the Elation is in 2s. The Strike 4, they're all individual. And I think that's going to be a very popular light, MJ, and Chauvet's putting a big push on it too.
Definitely.
Guys, I got to say this. Stacy, as we were getting you on, we were discussing how lucky we are to have you at NL Effects and how Kat recruited you and hired you. Guys, take notes. She's in the garage. How can you not like that? How can you not like a girl who's typically at home in the garage? I want my daughters to grow up and be like Stacy.
I don't know. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I know. I work with you.
Right.
And we don't. I don't want to turn this into an all about Stacy, but correct me if I'm wrong here. You also used to ride rodeo. You used to ride barrels, right?
Yeah. No, I never did the barrel racing. I call that tin can chasing. I did the roping, and I did the breakaway roping, team roping, and some of the rough stock events.
You did roping.
Yes.
All right, guys. So the next time you got a wise idea at a trade show, think twice.
The tin can chasing.
Pretty good with a rope. The last thing you do is you run out of the booth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
There goes your ratings, John. I'm sorry.
I'm just the whole tin. Okay.
I thought it was barrels. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, that's okay. We'll correct you.
Isn't the tin can chasing what the guys do after the expo?
Generally, I mean, that's the tendency nowadays. Yeah.
It definitely seemed to be that. And actually, that's one of the cool things about doing some of these larger shows, like a little bit NAMM, but LDI had it last year, and the one the show I'm going to be going to before that is GIE show, which is a different industry. Is you mentioned the tin can chasing? Well, at like if it closes at 5, like at 4:30, all of a sudden these booths are just inundated with these little portable bars that set up, and the last half hour is happy half hour of tin can chasing. It's a different world.
What show it was, John? I think it was. I want to say it was Infocom or LDI. Let's see. Maybe it was. Wouldn't be Infocom. Maybe it was LDI because we're in the fall. But I think it was baseball playoffs or something, and I don't remember. But everybody had it on. As soon as the show hours stopped, all the video walls switched to like the baseball.
Yeah.
We may see that in Vegas. Who knows?
We may, depending upon what time games play and such, which is cool watching baseball.
Pittsburgh's a sports town, and there's many nights, and I hate this so bad that we don't DJ till the game's over. Drives me bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have.
I still get paid the same. So.
Well, you're lucky.
I'm not gonna mess with my contracts.
That was one of the big things. He used to say, "Oh, you only played half a night, so can we only pay you, half of the?" No, I was here the whole time.
There's one night I was scheduled for 3 or 4 hours. I played 1 because the game went into overtime. It was baseball. I still got paid the same for the 1 hour as I would have for 3.
Nice.
Oh, you were there. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
You were there.
That's your time.
Doesn't work that way all the time. Okay, well, we are almost at 8 o'clock. We've got about 5 minutes to. Antony, what time did you have to book out?
I can probably stay for another 2 hours.
We're not staying for 2 hours.
Anthony and I'll hang out because I'm going to just go off of this and go play some Xbox or something.
We're going to go
Star Wars trailer to watch, so I'm going to need to go here.
Yeah, certainly before the 2 hours are up. Because we wanted to kind of drift now and kind of segue from talking about LDI and such, because November is for most of us is kind of a slow time of the year. Shani, who will hopefully be popping in with us here in a little bit, of course, she's bar mitzvah and all the different things she does. So this is her busy time of the year for her. But we wanted to kind of talk about some ideas of what people could be doing during these slower months, winter months, to kind of prepare for next year. And Stacy and Ben, you guys would actually be a good way to kick us off with that. Is that you guys are getting calls from DJs who are looking to upgrade parts of their gear and parts of their company. And, sharing, if you guys could share just a little bit about what are some of the common trends you're hearing when people are calling and saying, hey, I want to upgrade, and, what directions are they kind of looking to upgrade?
Well, I'll let Stacy take that, but I'll throw in, before we talk about the new gear upgrades, this is also a great time, as MJ said, for fixing. Replacing feet on things, repairing, cleaning casters, taking care of your gear. It'll last longer. Good time to put a fresh coat of paint on things and that sort of thing. But now I'll pass over to Stacy. She can talk about the conversations he's having with DJs on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now, especially like you were saying, John, I get a lot of calls for people that they've seen things throughout the summer. They've seen things throughout the different events they've been at, different shows they've been at, and now they're interested and now they have the time. A lot of the upgrades I've been catching wind of is going to be a lot of the speakers. I have a ton of people calling, and now is when they want to upgrade their speakers. Then they have some time to play with it. Some of their effect lights, those two. But as far as speakers, a lot of people are hearing the new EV series, stuff like that. And they're asking a lot of questions about that. That's kind of what the hit is right now for me, anyhow, in the office. That's what I'm getting a lot of.
Let's just look at the sound system for a second. What are a couple of the common questions you're getting when people are calling? They're saying, "Hey, I've seen this online. Obviously price is one, but I mean, is there some functionality that people are looking for?"
Yeah, a lot of people, and some of the questions I ask immediately too are, what kind of venues are you doing? Because that helps me help you. So what kind of venues, the output that you're expecting out of it. A lot of people are wanting to know your wattage and those kinds of things. Also, you have to understand that the comparison between wattage and what is actually getting put out there is a little bit different. The technology behind that. I don't get into the extreme geeky parts quite as much as Ben does. He can explain a lot more of that than I can, but you know, that does make a difference. And every speaker is going to have their own little quirk that way. The nice thing about EV that I do kind of tell people is, I mean, everybody is going to have their own preference depending on the venue that you're at. The kind of application that you have for that is going to depend on, you know, what's going to work better for you and in your budget. But a lot of it too is with EV, everything made in the United States, everything assembled. So they're using their own product that they make, that they've engineered from top to bottom. Everything from the amplifiers, from subwoofers, everything that's going into that speaker is something that they've engineered. So they know every single detail and spec that's on that. So therefore the output is fairly relevant to what you're actually seeing.
I just want to jump in real quick, just to clarify. The ETX series, of course, made in the U.S., but not all. I know what you.
Right. Yep.
I know what you meant is that all EV products are engineered in the United States. Not all are made in the United States, but to what Stacy's trying to say is that everything is engineered in the United States by Electro Voice, and everything that goes into their boxes, regardless of whether it's made in the U.S., Mexico, or China, is made in an EV factory. It is all EV parts. They don't take anything off the shelf and just stick it together. So that's. I just wanted to clarify what you said.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's perfect. Yep.
So sound. So sound. They're talking sound, and of course, Ben and I've done videos on if you guys are looking to buy speakers and you want to get, you know, how to talk about speakers. We did a Tuesday night with Ben Stowe show. We'll put that link in the description below. Our speaker. But that was a great video for you guys to watch to learn how to, you know, what are the important things when you're buying speakers. Yeah. Then we'll put that down below. But in another show that Ben and I did with Mike Dussault, we talked about the full line because EV's got a whole line of speakers, which most manufacturers do have kind of a more entry, more of a mid and a higher end. Are there some, Stacy, are there some tendencies as far as, you know, people are looking for? Are they looking for a super powerful? Is that more of what they're looking for? Or are they looking for a thing that'll give them more bass? I mean, have you seen any kind of consistent thoughts behind what they're looking for?
A lot of what I'm seeing too is they want power, but they don't want weight. It's heavy. It's hard to load in and out that gear all the time. And that's wearing and tearing on other equipment then too.
Unless you're a rodeo person.
What's that?
Unless you're a rodeo person.
Unless you're a rodeo chick, then you can do whatever. It's not a big deal. You just throw it over your shoulder and go. No, I mean, that is a big concern. It's the longevity of everything from start to finish, whether it's just the gear, your body. I mean, you don't want to be tired from hauling everything in either. So a lot of people want that. So I do hear a lot of that as well. So, you know, they have lighter speakers within their line, but then again, too, that also with the application, there's other lines out there that, you know, may be a better application for you. You know, and I have a lot of people, too, that are really looking into these battery operated speakers right now. So they kind of want the whole package deal in one. They want to be able to not have a ton of cords. They don't want to have a lot of cabling running here and there. They want to have just easy on the go, put it up. Ceremony type pieces that they're not going to have to do a full setup of their rig, tear it down, or have a secondary setup. So those are options too, and we have a lot of great options for those too. I mean, Galaxy's got some great ones. Sennheiser has some really great options out there for those. So, I mean, those are the options that people have really been throwing at me. Is a lot of they still want that power though, the power behind it. They want to be able. Biggest concern is people need to hear them. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ben, I want to come back.
Clarity.
Ben, I want to jump to you. And this, yep. Okay, go ahead, Ben. I want to finish that thought.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, you know, I really wanted to compliment Stacy on the very first thing she said when we started talking about speakers. Is she's asking questions about the venue, about the application. That makes her do a lot more work. But that's the approach that we want to take. We want to find the right solution for you. We want to put the engineering first and not just sell you what's easy to sell. Yep. So I just wanted to give kudos to my coworker for that.
Thanks.
Shani, we're just kind of talking about things to do during the slower months, and of course we mentioned, of course, you've got a busy November, so it doesn't fit with you. But we're gonna get to Dean in just a little bit to share some of his thoughts of what a person can do in the wedding world to do during these slow times to get yourself ready for next year. And if you could put a couple of thoughts together, and we'll jump to you in just a few minutes. I've got a couple more questions because Ben's gonna leave here in a couple of minutes because he wants to go watch a trailer of something.
I got the remote in my hand right now.
But Ben, I wanted to ask you now. This past year we saw really the upcoming battery powered speakers. A few of the companies introduced those at NAMM. We've seen more throughout the years. But battery powered portable sound systems isn't something new. If I'm not mistaken, like 3 or 4 years ago, there were still some companies making those, except they were just really huge money. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I think they've been around a long time. Certainly Galaxy, one of the names Stacy mentioned, has been making battery-powered wireless systems for quite a while. Sennheiser, that she mentioned, makes a really, I would say, a premium grade one. Of course, American DJ and Epsilon both released models that have been really hot sellers for us as well. I mean, the battery really isn't anything new. Now I could get my typical geeky fashion. We could talk about things like Leyden jars and voltaic piles, and we're going back a couple thousand BC probably. I don't know, but Mesopotamian batteries. I don't know that they had sound systems back then to pair with it, but batteries are nothing new, and the ability to power a sound system with a battery has been around for a long time. It's just getting better and better though, with additional technologies being added on, and of course lighter, longer lasting battery technology, lithium ion, lithium polymer, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things I thought I remembered seeing a couple of those battery systems a few years back, but really now with the advent of you mentioned American DJ or American Audio and Epsilon, the price points have really been able to, like everything, technology has really driven that price point down. So now many DJs can afford to have wireless speakers and a wireless ceremony system without a ton of money. So it's pretty cool. Cool. Okay, just checking there. Okay.
That's when we're talking wireless, are we talking both audio signal and electric power?
Well,
Yes.
The only, short of what Tesla purportedly invented that I've yet to see employed, the only wireless electric power that I'm aware of is lightning. And that doesn't make a very good power source, although your speakers are about 1 million watts for a very short period of time. Now, of course, there are wireless charging devices like induction. If you've seen the new BB-8 robot from Star Wars, that charges by induction. They'll be replaced with induction charger. It's induction chargers for cell phones. But to directly answer your question, MJ, I'm not aware of any way that we can beam power to a loudspeaker. We're just simply talking wireless in terms of RF radio frequency, be it a UHF-based frequency or Bluetooth. I got YouTube out of that. Bluetooth.
No, because there are some speakers that I saw this year that were like rechargeable, full size, all-in-ones, and that's what I was wondering. Like, are they being used by people in like weddings and stuff? Because I do, I kind of look at that, and I don't mean to, again, back to us discussing high end, low end. I kind of see that as a novelty thing, but apparently people are going for that.
Well, I apologize. I misunderstood. When you said wireless power, a battery-powered speaker doesn't have wireless power. The power source is built into the device.
AC/DC, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It has to, it has to charge, and it will only last as long as that charge. When you say wireless power, and maybe it's just because I'm really excited about it, someday maybe we'll have that. We would be able to send wireless power and not need a battery inside the device. As far as battery-powered speakers, I think maybe a novelty, but I don't think so. I think a necessity. Certainly, in the same way that wireless uplights have opened up a lot of doors, having a battery-powered wireless ceremony system allows us to put a ceremony just about anywhere we want. And when I think about a sound system from an install standpoint, you think about the primary considerations: structural, electrical, and aesthetic. We can now take those same considerations to a ceremony and say, well, this place is beautiful and it's remote. Therefore, it has no structural or electrical, well, we can address those concerns on our own now. We can put the speaker anywhere we want and have a ceremony in the most remote and beautiful places.
Lake Bemidji.
Yes, Lake Bemidji. You were just here. It was a great picture of the lake you took.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful morning on Lake Bemidji, but we're getting, that's another topic for another day.
I have a great idea, John. Let's vote. Okay, we've got let's see. Besides John and I, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Good. That's an odd number, so we can have a majority. John is going to be coming up to Bemidji next week after LDI, and I'm going to be home for a sum total of, I think, 2 days. And during those 2 days, we're going to try to shoot a couple of episodes of Tuesday night. I think we should give Stacy a lasso and see if John can outrun it.
No.
All in favor, say aye.
I see hands. I see lots of hands.
Yeah, no.
I have a question. If she ropes him in, does she get to do everything to him that she would normally do?
Yeah, what do they call it? They call it.
Oh boy, look at the time. It must be 8:30.
Flip him over and you tie him up.
You have to flip him and tie him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get my piggin string out. We could
if that's gonna happen, I might have to use my miles.
Come on.
So on my chart,
I might have to fly in.
Good ideas and bad ideas. That's over on the bad idea side.
Hey, you know what?
Here's what you have to think.
The show, I know she'd be in favor of it.
Here's what you have to think. Will John's kids learn how to tie those knots too? Because then when he goes home,
yeah, we'll have a knot tying tutorial. It'll be great.
I think this could be good fun. You just put John in like a chute, and then
I just love that you guys have that much confidence in me that you really think I'm going to catch it.
They know how slow I am. Okay, so let's keep going on our topic. We got about another 20 minutes and then we got to wrap things up. So we talked a little bit about some of the gear, the wireless things, people upgrading sound and such. Now, Dean, we're going to jump up to you now. And Mike, I see you joined us. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're into the part now. We've talked about LDI. Now we're going to be talking about things that we can kind of do during the slower months to get our business ready for 2016. So, Dean, did you unmute? Yes, there you are. Good.
I did.
Good.
Yeah.
A couple of thoughts. During a slow time, what's something that you would recommend people kind of work on, do to get ready for a bigger next year?
Well, the first thing that you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear it. Yep.
Okay, good. The first thing I would do is actually review my past year because, I really want to look at what the trends have been in the performance aspect of what we're seeing in weddings nowadays. Because, like it or not, they're always changing, and there's a lot of things coming up that I'm seeing at least that are different than they were 10 years ago. And then once I get a really good idea about those things that are changing, then I want to attack that as a problem, and I want to look into ways that I can create new and fun, engaging, entertaining things for my clients from there. I've always been a firm believer of practice, and too often I see DJs go out there and they'll either pick somebody else's brain and then go try to duplicate what they see without any practice whatsoever, and fail miserably or get lucky on one occasion here or there. Or secondly, you get the DJs that do practice and really can take things up and step up their game a lot more. So the winter time really gives you that opportunity to do that, especially here in Minnesota, as weddings take a severe dive after October 31st for sure. The second thing that I always do is I try to get involved in as much training as I possibly can get. I've already booked myself in 3 different seminars for next year already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I am really, well, it's funny. After 26 years, I find that I have to dig harder to stay just to keep up with everybody nowadays. I want to see what other people are doing. I want to learn from them and improve what I'm doing from that and create a new and better Dean for sure.
Now you mentioned after 26 years, and I found that I find myself needing to do that also. Now, is that partially because that maybe some of these younger guys who are coming into it, that we're perceiving them to be, higher up, they're coming in at a higher rate, they're a higher level than we did? Am I off on that?
Well, I think that possibly. Truth be told, I think it's easy for us to get stuck in our shtick, and really, do that same thing over and over and over and over again that got us to that point. And, we are performers. We do produce a show for people. Hopefully, we're being inventive and creative for these people out there. But we've got to spark that idea and really, learn those things that will take us to a different level for sure. And definitely people are starting at a higher level. There is no question about it. Gear is better. Music is in a different place. Heck, we don't get worn out carrying all those dang CDs. And
yeah.
My gosh. I mean, that in itself is a lot. Gear's lighter. We got battery power speakers. We're not running stuff. We're wireless lighting now. So, after 26 years, you really do have to step things up overall. And I don't know that I want to compare myself to other people. I want to be as original in my own sense as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely things that you can learn from other people that will improve your craft. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Shani, what are your thoughts? We get into these colder months, and maybe your schedule is, you guys are swamped doing bar mitzvahs. I mean, you're a little, in my world, I'm basically a wedding DJ is what I am. So
Sure.
In your world, you do a variety of different types of events. I mean, what are your thoughts?
We're doing a lot of stuff. We're doing mitzvahs. And then I'm also producing corporate conferences. So I'm traveling a lot doing that. So I'm producing the conferences. We're doing the school events. So that's keeping us busy. And then, we're basically doing every type of event under the sun. So anyone who's having any type of celebration, we're doing it. And then I also, on my end, am doing the fashion events at the stores. And that's big. A lot of it is a lot in the wintertime because they want to get people shopping. So that keeps me busy in the wintertime doing the fashion events in the stores, especially in the big department stores. So that's keeping me busy. But besides doing those type of events, we're doing the same thing. We're looking back and seeing, hey, maybe a showcase. Maybe let's look into doing something and doing a private showcase and inviting some other vendors, whether it be a photographer, a videographer, decor, and do a private showcase where everybody has their own list of people, that prospective clients that they can invite, and do us instead of doing the big, as I know they have the bridal party showcases, doing a smaller one of your own and doing it at a spot where you have great rapport. And, doing that on, a Sunday, or even doing it on a weekday, on a Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. or 7 to 9, for just 2 hours, and serve some, light snacks from another a caterer and things like that. So you could kind of get all the vendors going and getting business that way. So we're always looking into seeing how, even as busy we are, we want to be busier.
Yeah.
Even if we're a multi-app, we want every single one of our people working. We want all our gear out of the warehouse. I want to be able to call, and I want to be able to call Stacy and Ben and Kat and those guys and say, we need more gear.
Right.
We need more gear because all our gear's out. So, we're trying to do whatever we can do to get more events. So, and again, I love that he just said that, he's going to seminars and, the conferences. I think that's big. I go on the Facebook chat rooms and I see a lot of people are asking questions that if you would just go to one conference, you would probably learn a lot of stuff from that.
Exactly. And for those of us who go to many, and Shani, you and I both go to quite a few, and then you see some of the questions that have come up and you're like, that is covered like 10 times over at a show. You wouldn't be asking
repeatedly. Yes, repeatedly.
Yeah, exactly. And, and I'm not even talking about just like those little stupid questions that people are like, just Google it. I'm talking like the questions that if they just take the time, put some money aside and go to one conference, they would learn so much and get so many golden nuggets just from that one conference. Yeah. So I love that he just said he's going to conferences, and we all go to the conferences, and, and people just say, oh, I'm not going to that. It's always the same. It's this, it's that, but it's also the networking and talking to other people and saying, hey, how are you getting your business? What are you doing? What are you doing different than me? Hey, I want to do more of what you can do, and things like that. And it's talking to other DJs in the industry and seeing how you can all step up. I will, like today, I just received an incredible gift from somebody that saw me at the Las Vegas DJ show. And the DJ, I'm not going to say the name because I haven't talked to the person to say if I could, say anything. But, they sent me a very nice card and said, because of what I talked about on stage and how I represented myself, this person feels that they can move not just from a DJ, but also be an MC now and see how I could be at ease up on stage and talk in front of all these people. Mm-hmm. And that person is also signing up for seminars, signing up for, Randy Bartlett's seminar and everybody else's to get them to that next step. And I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I love hearing that other people are doing that in the industry.
Can I throw something in on that real quick, Shani?
Of course.
First, I think one of my favorite sayings is, you don't know what you don't know.
I know.
Sometimes people say, well, I wouldn't get anything from this seminar. I wouldn't get anything from this conference, or I wouldn't get anything from this book. I don't believe that. You don't know what you don't know. And second of all, I think what's really notable is I regard you as a leader in our industry. And John does a really good job of bringing a lot of leaders together. And when we fellowship, it's interesting that we see each other at so many shows. And you think, is it a chicken or the egg? Is it coincidence that so many of the leaders are always at these shows? Is it a coincidence that some of the most respected people I see on the boards are attending my seminars and listening? And conversely, that I'm looking for every article or seminar I can attend? I think that's a hallmark of a professional, is always looking for that constant edge. How do I get 1% better? I guess unintentional plug for Randy, but there you go.
Right.
I absolutely agree with that too. Something you said there, that networking, there is so much value in that. One of the best tools that I've been able to use over the years is, especially, you come up with, new kissing ideas. I've probably done about 500 different kissing ideas over the last, however many years. But a lot of those ideas happen because I know a lot of people, and I come to them and I say, you know what, I got a bride and groom coming up. They want to do a Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween wedding. What do you guys got? And then they'll throw some ideas together, and the next thing you know, you're designing something so unique and so fun. And that wouldn't happen if I just didn't spend, lunch going with this guy, or, just meeting some people in the hallways or whatever else. It's so important.
Yeah, I agree. Nobody's perfect, no matter what anybody says, nobody's perfect. There's always room for improvement. And I just feel that I can always better myself. No matter what anybody says, every single person can better themselves, no matter how great I think an event went. And I think this is the best event I've ever done in all my years. I know I could do one that's even better. And if that means going to these conferences or talking to somebody else and saying, hey, I know you guys do this way out in your area. Tell me something you do different that maybe I could kind of incorporate over here, and let me try it. Now, is everything I do a success? Absolutely not. We all say that everybody sees the great things we post on Facebook. Do people want to see the nightmares that are happening when I'm doing setups and this and that? Of course not. I'm not going to post those type of things, but we all go through them, and it's, trials and tribulations. And I just think that everybody just needs to just practice what they preach. You want to sit there and you want to complain, and I don't have enough gigs, and what am I doing wrong, and this and that. What you're doing wrong is you're complaining about it, and do something about it. Make that first step. That's all you need to do, whether it's go to a conference or talk to somebody else in the industry and find out what they're doing, or, like I said, do your own showcase. Do something, get those clients, do something, and get yourself busy. It's, if it's a long process, it's a long process. What do they say? Rome wasn't built overnight. Get yourself up and going, and eventually you'll get to that rock star status you want to be at.
I agree with that 150%. And here's, okay, I want to put this in the public domain. So John, you can, if and when I ever die, I plan on living forever, and so far so good, by the way.
Good to hear it.
Yeah. But here's a quote that you can attribute to me. So maybe someday I'll be like internet famous or something. Arrogance comes at the cost of excellence. I think it's a little bit like going to the gym, which obviously I don't do. But if you're afraid to go to the gym because you're not in shape, you can't lift a lot, so you never go in the gym, so you never can. People say, well, I'm not going to the seminar because I don't want to show my competition that I don't know either, or I think I know because I don't know what I don't know. But whatever those inhibitions are, whatever keeps you out of those opportunities, the people that suffer are you and your clients.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I think
Agreed.
Your clients, and in many cases, I think it really even becomes more personal that your family will suffer from the growth and the improvement you might have that would make you a better business person, a better da-da-da-da-da. Without that, you aren't fulfilling what you are meant to do in life. Let's get philosophical here. You've got an ability to do so much in this world, and if you're not going to basically take advantage of that ability and make yourself as good as possible, your family's the one that ends up losing in the end.
Well, that's 100% right too. And I'll just throw this in too. I'm back on my soapbox for a second.
Oh, wait, hang on. We got to go full screen so we can
Well, I don't look any taller on the soapbox when I'm on the screen, but anyway.
No, but you're more commanding. It's like the voice of God.
Oh, don't make his head grow.
Can I be taken seriously wearing a Angry Birds Star Wars t-shirt? Is that possible?
Yes, you can. We always take you seriously, Ben.
All right. If we were to take a poll of the 8 people on this call or the viewers, if I said, what is my level of competency when it comes to pro audio, I would surmise I would score pretty high. Yes, no?
I think so.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, that wasn't the reaction I was hoping for. But
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, the microphones are muted, so they're not all.
Well, here's my point. There was a time in my career when a friend of mine who we worked together at a fast food restaurant had to explain to me what a mixing board was and why I would need one. I had no idea, zero. And yet now, I have the opportunity to speak as an expert. I have the opportunity to be flown around the world. I have the opportunity to be called on by tours as someone who they can put out on the road and just, make things happen and make problems go away. But the point is, like Shani said, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's a process, and it's a continual process. Just Sunday morning, I was mixing sound at a church. They'd asked me to come in and help. They had some new sound people, so I was there. And the 2 people that they had kind of sitting with me back by the soundboard, the woman said, "Well, I'm still just learning this." And I looked at her and I smiled and I said, "Me too." It's a daily process. Every day we just try to be just a little bit better, or else we're standing still and the world is going to eclipse us. Some bright, motivated young punk like, I don't know, Antony is going to just smoke you one day, and you're going to see his taillights and you go, "Wow, I used to be the man. What happened?" You got to keep the gas pedal down.
You do. You've got to keep. It's that shark analogy. You're either moving forward or you're dying, and I think that fits in a lot of what we are and what we do. Gang, we are getting close to the end. We should do some final thoughts and wrap things up. So, Dean, did you have something you wanted to?
I did. I had a final thought. I'll just do mine first since I volunteered. Anyways, one of the other things, piggybacking on this conversation just a little bit, is becoming humble enough to know what you don't know. And when we talked about, I mentioned performance before, but in a business sense, that's probably the area that most DJs could use the most work. And this year, the thing that I found out that I didn't know, well, I knew this before, but I admitted it and went all in, is, getting professional headshots done and having somebody rework all of my material instead of doing it on, whatever Microsoft program there is out there. The absolute, if we want to charge a premium rate, we have to look at our business and admit that, and go, you know what? I am not that good at publishing stuff, so I'll hire somebody else to do that.
Yep.
So I've done that this year, and that's a process when you're a small business, building up to that point. But it has leaps and bounds, set me apart from the competition here in my town.
Yeah.
But the flip side to that is we can't be an expert at everything, so admitting our faults and weaknesses is a plus.
Absolutely, it is definitely a plus.
Very much so. Very much
that's
so.
All I got.
Cool. Anyone else with some final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say one really quick.
Sure.
You know, just because somebody actually sent me a message while I was talking on here, and I just wanted to say this as a female in the industry. I just want to say that I appreciate John, you know, always reaching out to me and, you know, having me come on the show, you know, being in the industry and kind of being able to give my 2 cents or 3 cents or however cents I can give, and, you know, just kind of talking about everything on here. And I just appreciate all the feedback that people have been giving me, whether positive or negative. It's feedback, and, you know, and I'll take it both. But, you know, definitely I just love, you know, being on here and being able to just help people out. Or, you know, me and Ben, you know, finally going to be able to get together and do a production together or something one of these days. But, you know, I appreciate, you know, whatever I can do to, you know, to help people out and help the community. But I definitely ask a million questions, and Ben knows this, and everybody that I deal with knows that I pick up that phone, and there's no shame in my game. I don't care how stupid my question is. I ask it because I need to know, and I'm not going to be that stupid DJ that's out there. So I'm going to ask away and get my answer so I can do what I have to do with a big smile on my face and make it right.
You know, Shani, first of all, it would be an honor to do a production with you. It's an honor just to chat with you. To me, the gender is completely an irrelevant thing, and it's almost noteworthy that you bring it up. I think it says something about our industry, but to me, I don't think I think if you start putting you know, the old saying about judging books by their cover, I learned so much from so many different people, so many different walks of life. You know, again, I don't want to short myself out of those opportunities to learn. And you have a tremendous amount to offer the industry. And also, as a father of 2 daughters, I'd like to think my youngest daughter will do anything. Trust me, you're not going to stop her. It doesn't matter. So, you know, I think that's fantastic. I think we're so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it sucks. I still get it. I mean, even at the DJ conventions when I was DJing, you know, at one of the booths, I got, God, you're good for a female.
Well,
what it is.
I don't know if
Ben just wants your rider. That's all.
I was going to say, I get that too. Pretty good for a girl. I get that too.
You get that too. I know, right?
You're pretty good looking, MJ. But anyways, yeah.
Alrighty. That might be.
I'll tell you this much too. I just want to throw this in since we're on the topic. Since we've got Stacy here, I do see that at times. I see that at trade shows where, you know, maybe she's discriminated against. That people think that maybe she doesn't have the answers. She doesn't have what it takes to give them a good solution. Of course, the people that work with her know that she does. She's developed a tremendous following. People are starting to catch on to the fact that she really likes Betty Boop stuff. So it's starting to become her Star Wars thing.
It is.
And, you know, to any of the dissenters and the naysayers, remember, she's a rodeo roping gal. So, you know, better bring your A game if you're going to mess with Stacy.
You're going to threaten them all into liking me.
That's right. Hey, they're just going to be afraid of you. No.
Well, gang, it is after 8:30. We need to wrap things up. I want to thank you guys for being on with us tonight. It was a good discussion. It was a kind of round table. All we needed was, you know, everyone had their mics. They just needed to have a beer by their mic, and we would have had that college dorm feel.
You know what, John? Since you left the screen on me here, you know, the viewers can't see this because they can only see the screen that's selected, but we have like a tile view. I just keep thinking it's like Hollywood Squares, you know?
Yeah, well, they're seeing the tile right now.
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah, we're
I'm the secret square.
Great stuff. Well, we're going to bounce here, gang. Thank you once again. For those of you watching, if you've got any thoughts or comments, please put those down in the comments section down below, because we do read those and we will come and check those out, because there's things that you thought about as you were hearing this tonight that are things we want to hear from you, because you're going to share some experiences or some thoughts and things. Feedback is incredibly appreciated. So please take a couple of seconds to give us some thoughts down below. Once again, guys, thank you very much for being on. We'll be back, I think, next Monday night, and we'll do it all over again.